Hello, I'm Ash McLucas, and I'm here speaking with Luke Means, whose mother has recently been diagnosed with the coronavirus. So, before we begin, Luke, how are you doing right now?
I'm good. I haven't shown any symptoms yet. Um, my brother hasn't shown any symptoms. My dad had symptoms for like a night, but other than that, no one's had any symptoms in the house. I mean, obviously my mom, but besides that, it's we're all good.
How about emotionally and mentally? Because this is a very challenging time, and not just for everybody, but for people who are being affected.
So uh, she went to the hospital on like a Wednesday or whatever. They tested her for all kinds of stuff. They just said it was like viral, like she had like the flu or whatever. And they actually found like lower left abdomen pneumonia or whatever.
Oh,
And yeah, they were like, yeah, they just said she had pneumonia, but she kept throwing up.
ooh.
And so she actually has PKU where she can't like process protein, so she's got to take formula for that. And so yeah, so when she had that, she couldn't process the proteins.
Mhm.
She couldn't process her formula because she was throwing up, so she kept getting sicker.
Mhm.
But like they didn't know why she kept throwing up. So then she went back to the hospital a couple of days later, and they tested her for the virus. She was like, she wasn't allowed to leave the hospital, and she got the virus, and
Oh,
it
wow.
came back positive. It was like, yeah, she was like one of the first cases in the county. So she got it. She got it from work. Her and a couple coworkers had it,
Ooh.
but they're all good now. So yeah, no one. It wasn't fatal for anyone. They just it took about a week to get through, but so yeah, I mean, I guess it was kind of like it was like at first it was like everyone was making jokes about it. Then especially me, I was like, oh yeah, we don't school anymore. But then it was like in my house. So I was like, oh okay, I guess it is
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah, it's very hard, especially when that possibility becomes a reality. So, how did your mom react
For
to the
sure.
news? How did your mom react to this?
I don't know. I don't know. She was in the hospital for a while. Like yeah. She was in the hospital for like a while, for like 6 days. Nauseous, slept a lot, so I didn't get to really like talk to her about it. Except like one night at like 3 in the morning. I don't really sleep, so like I'm always up. I sleep like a couple hours a night.
Yeah.
So I was up like 2:33, and she FaceTimed me because she knew I was awake.
Mhm.
But other than that, I didn't really talk to her. But she got through it. So I'm assuming at first she didn't think she had it because she came home, and then when she went back the next day or 2 days ago, she wanted to get tested for it. So I don't really know how she felt, but yeah.
During the period of which she had this, was she mostly in the hospital, or was there a time where she was also in quarantine as well?
So she was in the hospital for I think like 6 days. She came back home on, I want to say it was like a Sunday or whatever. And then when she came home, before she came home, we had to wipe everything down with like Clorox wipes, everything. And we actually have two bathrooms, one upstairs and one downstairs. And the one upstairs is right beside her bedroom. So what we did was we moved everything, like my dad, my brother, and I stuff. We moved all to the downstairs basement, and we just had that basement as ours. And everything in the upstairs basement was hers. And then as like when she would like wake up and like come out living room and watch TV or whatever, obviously we wouldn't be in the living room with her. We would just like be in our rooms, be in the basement, whatever, hanging out, watching TV. But I mean, like as she like started to feel better and stuff, it was like I guess okay to be in the same room as her, like across the room. Obviously not beside her, but I don't know. That's pretty much it. Like it's not like we can't even talk to her or whatever, but she's good now. So
that's good. That's good. So I want to go back to a point you made earlier. You said your dad somehow caught this or showed symptoms of it. So what symptoms did he show?
He had like a fever, he had a cough, but that, like I said, that was just a night. And when that happened, he actually told my brother. It was like 2 a.m. My brother and I were still playing video games, so he told us. He texted us and was like, "You guys gotta wipe everything down. I'm starting not to feel good." And I was like, "Dang, two, both parents getting it." And after I was making all these jokes, but he that was just the only night. So but yeah, we ended up wiping everything down, and the next morning he was back to work online and stuff. So
did he ever think about going to get himself checked out for this?
Oh yeah, so he actually talked to like the Department of Health or something because so he called like the ER or whatever, and they were like, "Well, I don't know if we can bring you in because my mom had it, and he obviously in the same household, so he was like quote unquote exposed to it." So they had to talk to them, and then someone from the Department of Health called them, and they said, "Don't go get tested unless it's like really serious, like my mom's case was, where like she was like throwing up everything, was like really sick, miserable." But he was just sick for a night, and then he was back to his normal self. So yeah, I guess I don't think he would have wanted to get tested either way. But with the Department of Health like notifying him, don't go out unless you like absolutely have to, then yeah.
For the precaution you guys took, was that all you did? Was just wipe down the house and constantly wash hands and whatnot?
And that was pretty much it. When we would like get her food and stuff. We would just, take it to like the beginning of the door. I don't know what I'm drawing a blank. Right where the door is, and
the threshold.
And we walk away. Yeah, sure. And then she, come and get it. But and like we got like a pantry, like every house does, where the snacks and stuff are. Her snacks, like the chips and stuff that people brought her, we didn't put in there. We just kept them in her room. We didn't even, mess around with that. So that was another precaution. We kept our snacks separate as well as everything else.
So another question I have here, as someone who's personally experienced living with someone who has been affected with this, and a lot of people are panicking right now, what word of advice or anything would you say to these people?
Oof, that's a good question. I don't know. I still don't believe that it's as fatal and should cause everything to shut down. Obviously, it's contagious. Obviously, it's everything else. But I mean, she's not 100%, but like she's able to like walk around now, like stay awake, keep food down. And it was just like a course of a week. She was like really miserable. I think it was like worse than the flu kind of symptom wise, because she's like was just literally miserable. She couldn't keep a fever down. It was like her temperature was like 102 degrees.
Oh my.
But I mean, it's just it's just like you got to keep living life. You can't let it's just a week. I mean, but I don't know. It could be longer. And me personally, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it. If I get it and die, I get it and die. It's just my time. I don't know. I'm just gonna live. I don't.
That's very optimistic of you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
Only it's nice to see, because a lot of people, like I said, are very much panicking and making a bigger deal of this. I think they're panicking more so that like everything's getting shut down, and if people can't get money, people like if people don't have a non-essential job, they can't get money. They're panicking that way. I think they're panicking more that they don't have money than of getting the actual virus itself. But I think that's more of why they're panicking. But it's just my personal opinion. Everyone's got their own opinion. That's mine. I don't know. All right. Well, Luke, we wish you the best, and we thank you personally for sitting down and talking about the situation. And I hope everybody is happy and healthy at your house.
We are good now. For now, I don't know. I saw there was like 9 strands of it, so another one might come by. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Hello, everybody. This is Jack Leonard, and I'm here to interview my best friend, Devin. He's one of my colleagues from high school, and I'm here to interview him and see how it's impacting you and what's going on over there. how is everything with the COVID-19 spreading, the pandemic, and all that?
I would say it's a little different from usual. Usually I go to the mall in Altoona to go to my classes, but lately I've been having to just do them with Zoom, just like everyone else. It was a weird It was a weird turnout, I would have to say. And then just a week ago, my grandmother, or not a week ago, but a couple weeks ago, my grandmother was diagnosed with the COVID-19. She has since recovered, but it is something to worry about. You know, you never know who's going to get it, and you never know who's more in danger of passing away from it.
So, a couple people I know, like, probably struggling, trying to get done with classes online. And, like, are you having something like that too, maybe? Like, perhaps? Because, like, I know some classes right now, it's almost close to the final grading, and it's going to be a mess, and it's just going to make it a very big, huge mess for everybody. So, like, what do you think? Like, are you having some trouble?
I think the main problem with me is that there's too many distractions around, but at the same time, I get more time to actually do the work, and I get to do it in the comfort of my own home. But usually I'll just be in the main lobby for the school in the mall, and I'll just be doing my work there, waiting for the next class. But here, I get to do it in the comfort of my own home. I don't have to travel anywhere. Just get it done here.
Great answer. Just a little extra subject to the papers and stuff, or work online. I heard you have like some papers. Like I heard about like stuff like you said you have like another. Is it like a 10-page paper, right?
Yeah, I'm working on a paper for psychology right now. But after I get that done, I think there's only one more final that we're still talking about with business writing.
Right.
But
Okay.
other than that, after this semester, just got summer off, and then hopefully start next semester as a normal school semester and not just staying at home.
Oh, okay. So, how, like, do you think this is going to go on forever? Like, I'm not saying like you're a big expert about this, but what do you think? Because like I know I have plans. Like I was supposed to go do something on my summer vacation, and I bet like half of the millions of other people are having like the same type of thing. Like, are you having plans like that too?
Not exactly plans, but think about how long this is going to last. I wouldn't say forever. It might always come back. But here's the problem with diseases like this. All right. As my psychology teacher said, the more dangerous a disease is, the longer or the shorter it's going to last. Now, of course, COVID-19 is dangerous, but not compared to some other viruses that have been out in the world. So the problem is that people are just going to keep getting infected, and it's going to start the cycle all over again. So until we can finally stop that and get a vaccine, then I feel like this will linger, but eventually we'll overcome it.
Thank you, Devin, for talking with me. Hopefully you're going to stay safe, stay home, like all that saying, and I'll see you whenever this coronavirus is done.
Yep.
All right, please state your name, where you work right now, and where you live.
I'm Luke DiFrancesco. I live in Gainesville, Florida, and I'm a procurement engineer for Philips Healthcare.
Thank you, Luke. So how is the current pandemic affecting your job?
Well, my job specifically, I'm pretty lucky. My job, I have the ability to do it remotely. So I've been working at home for the past 7 weeks while we continue manufacturing at the factory. So I'm able to perform my job and my tasks virtually. So that I'm fortunate for that.
What's your exact job? You probably already.
Procurement engineer.
Especially since you're living in Florida, how does it affect? How has the pandemic affected your area, specifically the city and the places where you're living?
Yeah, Florida is probably an area you've heard in the news a lot. It's a big tourist area, the whole state of Florida with the many beaches. So most of the attractions like the beaches and everything are closed. My city specifically was one of the earlier ones to have the stay-at-home order in place. So there's been very little activity locally because of the pandemic.
And have you been staying at home?
I have been staying at home for the past 7 to 8 weeks. Only going out for essentials, mostly only groceries. Mm-hmm. It's affected life in the area, I guess, because very little people go out. And when you do go out, you take the necessary precautions like social distancing. There's lines at all of the stores because the state mandates you can only have a certain number of people in the store at one time. So you're waiting in lines, everyone's 6 feet apart, many people wearing masks. So you can really see the effect of the area really with everyone you see outside.
Mm-hmm. How has it, kind of already went over this, but how has it affected your daily routine and how you go about your day to day?
Yeah, my day's pretty heavily affected by the changes. Typically, I would work in the office every day, so I'm no longer doing that. Also, there's the gyms and local places are closed, so I'm not leaving every day to go to the gym or do the other stuff I would do out in the town on a daily basis. So I've pretty much tried to find new ways to do things at home, and that's been an adjustment. I've never worked from home before, so adjusting to that life and having the proper equipment and altering my productivity to accommodate being at home has been a big change for me. I've adjusted to it over the past couple of weeks, and now it's becoming easier. And I think the question moving forward is, how will this change be permanent? Will this change impact people that working from home is more, people work from home more often now? Or how does this affect our daily routine moving forward?
How has it affected your social interaction with other people?
Well, I think it's greatly impacted the social interaction with people more than anything. There's no place now for going out and socializing. We want to limit as many human to human contact as we can. So no visiting other people for the extended period of time we've been in so far. So finding new ways to interact, whether it's a Zoom calls like we're doing now, Facebook Live, other different forms of communication, more text messaging, more calls, Microsoft Teams meetings rather than in-person meetings, and just finding ways that we can stay in touch in these times where we can't see each other, because I think it's still important to maintain the social connectivity that we always do. We just have to be creative in the ways that we do it.
All right. Thank you, Luke. That was a very thoughtful response, and thank you. And thank you for your cooperation.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Saloon. He's from Somerset, New Jersey. We met at camp we both go to this Christian camp during the summer. We met there, became really close friends. We both are involved in the church. He goes to school. He's a nursing major, and he really loves his work. So here's his interview, and he will tell you more of how COVID has affected his life and how he works through it and continues to cope with this virus.
Okay, my name is Remy Saloom. I'm from Somerset, New Jersey.
First question I have is how COVID-19 affected your life.
Okay. So COVID-19 really transformed my life into a completely different one, I would say. My school's now online. There's no more work because I used to work at a restaurant, but that's not a thing anymore. And it kind of just made me a lot more cautious of interaction between other people just because of that risk, that possibility of contracting it. So really just keeps me on my toes in that regard.
Okay. As a college student, switching from face-to-face to online classes, how is that like?
It is the worst thing that has ever happened to education in recent times. For me, online education, at least, is practically impossible to really immerse yourself in an educational environment. And, you can try and do it, but we don't even have libraries or access to libraries. So I have to kind of try to get to a productive mindset at home, which is not very easy. So yeah, worst thing for me.
So going into the next question, do you prefer face-to-face or online? You kind of already did that, but
I prefer face-to-face a lot more.
Did this affect a job or upcoming summer job or anything like that?
Yeah, that affected my current job, it affected my current job, or was my current job, which is working at a restaurant as a waiter. And then it affected my summer job. It was a camp counseling job that's canceled now. And it really makes looking for any other job really hard to find because you're so limited now.
Okay. How's your family reacted to this? I know different family members are going through a rough time. Some family members are going crazy, buying all supplies, but how has your family reacted?
So my family was kind of I would say they reacted very cautiously to the whole situation, as in they immediately we got stocked up on little food so we didn't have to visit grocery stores as often. We secured personal protective equipment as soon as we could, and in that regard we're being as safe as possible, making sure everyone in my family is limiting human contact, not human contact but contact with strangers in that regard, and making sure to social distance at all time outside the house.
I know a lot of people have older family members. How has that impacted you guys in general?
So we've been a lot more, I guess, cautious when it comes to kind of interacting with my dad, because you don't want him to get it, but he's already contracted it anyways. It's been a lot in that I can't visit my grandmother and check up on her because she might be unhealthy and I might bring that risk to her, which I don't want to do. And it's very tough kind of reaching out to those people that are older than me, or I guess even my grandparents' age, just because we could put them at so much risk without even knowing. So it's very cautious there.
So are you living at your family's house or on an apartment, or?
I'm living with my family right now.
That's all I really have. I want to thank you.
All right. No problem, Danielle. Thanks for the interview. Good luck on your project and take care, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Penn Highlands College and Students Work with the Coronavirus Special Edition. I have with me today Gendelsberger, Casey Muskell, Derek Zola, and Brooke Merrick and their stories. Brandon, we'll start with you. First foremost question, where do you work?
I work at Best Buy in Johnstown.
Okay, and what has your employer changed since the coronavirus?
Okay, well, the thing that we've started doing recently is due to pretty much the whole issue with not being able to actually go into contact with people. We started adapting by doing curbside pickup, as well as continuing with our usual ship-to-home orders. So we basically give customers the opportunity to order and browse online, and they can either have it shipped to the store or they can have it shipped to their house. And if they do have it shipped to the store, they can drive up to the store and we can do curbside pickup where we can process the order and give it to them. And if they didn't order something in advance, one of the things that they can do is if they know exactly what they want, we can do the transaction. And other things that our store does is if they want to buy like Total Tech Support or apply for a credit card or something, they're still able to do that. So
that's a great idea. And it sounds like they're doing good, but how have you been coping with the changes at work? Anything really worse, or do you working better than it used to, or the same?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's worse for the business. I mean, overall, the company Best Buy as a whole is actually doing pretty well for the most part, because we're still making sales and whatnot, and we're still having decent business. From like an employee standpoint, it's not really too bad. Like nothing's really changed too much. And obviously, there are some things like we don't necessarily have as many responsibilities to do, just primarily because we don't really have as many customers and traffic going into the building. So really nice because every once in a while, like we have like a fair amount of downtime that we can take advantage of. My managers and as well as my other coworkers and stuff are handling it pretty well. The other thing too that I forgot to mention is right now up until the 18th, it used to be 2 weeks prior to the 18th, but right now with how our work is handling things is they pretty much gave employees the option to volunteer, and the employees who did volunteer, they are being rewarded for it, and it is benefiting us. But if, like, let's say I was nervous about going to work and maybe running into somebody who was sick, or I had other complications, like I know, for example, UPJ, those students, they're not as flexible as Penn Highlands students in a sense, where pretty much professors upload the work online and they have to finish it whenever. They have to attend Zoom meetings for each time slot that they have their classes. If I was in that boat where I had a bunch of classes during the day and stuff, then obviously I wouldn't be able to work. But the company would be taking care of those people who opted out in volunteering into working, because they would look at an average of how many hours they worked over the course of, like, I think 10 weeks, and they're getting compensated for it. So I feel like the business has been handling it very well.
It sounds that way, definitely. Well, thank you there for being on the program. And next we're going to go to Casey Muskell. Hello. And where do you work?
Mascot for Forever Media, mainly Froggy 95 and the other stations there.
And how has your employer changed since the coronavirus? Are you still working?
It's been completely, I haven't really gotten a message saying that I haven't been working. My employer.
Is there any word on when maybe you will be back in operation?
I haven't gotten anything yet about it, but I feel like sometime during the summer, hopefully, they'll go back to doing it, because that's when most of the events will be held.
Alrighty, any other closing thoughts?
I don't believe so.
Alrighty, thank you, Casey, for being on the show. And now we have Derek. Good evening, Derek. And where do you work at?
I work at Kenny Ross Chevrolet, the dealership in Somerset. I'm a detailer, so I clean cars, get new cars ready, and everything like that.
Oh, okay. And what has your employer changed since the coronavirus?
They closed down the whole building and everything, so there's no salesmen or anything like that. Couldn't sell any cars. But then they reopened the shop side so that you could still get your car worked on and everything like that, so that people can still use their cars, but you just can't buy any. You can't go into the showroom and there's no salesman there.
And how have you been coping with the changes made by your employer? You working more hours, less hours?
I'm not working at all anymore because I've signed up for unemployment and everything like that, and I'm just waiting for this to all be over.
And which it's one they sort of did overlook, and you sort of answered the question with allowing the shops open, but do you think your employer is handling the situation correctly?
It's just the mechanics in the shop. They do their work, and that's about it. And then nobody else can come in and interact with anybody else. And before they officially closed us down, when people would loan a car out if their car was getting worked on, me as a detailer, we would have to disinfect all the cars. So with like Lysol and wipes and everything like that too. So that was a good approach at that as well.
Okay, well, any other closing thoughts?
Taking the right steps to getting this over with and just have to hang in there.
Alrighty, well, thank you there for being on the show this evening. Now we're going to get Brooke Merrick. Hello, and where do you work at?
Part-time in an elementary school.
How have you been coping with the changes made by your employer since the coronavirus?
Although unable to work right now because of the government shutting down all Pennsylvania public schools, all teachers are still getting paid, but support staff like myself are not getting paid. My school is offering small duty jobs though for those not getting paid.
Do you feel your employer is handling the situation appropriately?
The administration cares about its employees and are doing the best that they can to handle the situation.
Alrighty, my name's Alan Mognet, the host of your show, and I work at Lowe's Home Improvement. And since the coronavirus, week number 1, people were in search of cleaning supplies and toilet paper. So week 2, we lost interest in cleaning supplies and toilet paper. Lowe's has learned to profit off of it because people were off work. They were even pushing sales and that to drive business in on the floors. And during it all, they still want us to push credit applications, which on that, if you do even get someone to say yes, one, they're going to have to dig in their wallet for their driver's license, get it out, and then you're going to have to touch their driver's license, spend about 5 minutes doing it. The only thing on it, they did get a little bit of bad publicity on the internet, Twitter and such. And out of it, we did get Easter Sunday off a last-minute decision. And we did get $150 for your part-time bonus pay in our paycheck. But yeah, they have been profiting well off of it. And any other thoughts or questions from anyone? Yes, Derek, go ahead.
Is like the Geek Squad still open? Like, do you still fix, like, do repairs and things?
No, we don't do any of our recycling or repairs anymore. You pretty much could only buy things right now. Like, if I was off today and I guess I wanted to go in the store and browse a little bit, even though I am an employee, because I'm not working, they're not allowed to let me in the building.
Nothing will be the same after this is over.
You've faced the same problem too, Alan, but like when we get like our trucks, the first day that I heard about a truck coming in, it kind of made me a little nervous because I thought it was going to be like the holidays where they're like the entire truck bed is just filled. It wasn't like that. Like we still are getting regular trucks, which is weird.
Yeah, probably will. Now, as my case, I never see the trucks because I'm a cashier, but I know what goes up, what sells out the door. But yeah, trucks, everything seems back in stock, what you see walking through, with the exception of the cleaning supplies and the masks. You might as well like that stuff, but otherwise, like all their lumber and everything seems well stocked and tools real good.
Do you see a lot of people wearing masks in the store, Alan? Yeah, not a lot of people in Somerset or around here think it's a big deal. I don't think about it really.
No, I've noticed that. They don't, well, like I say, over the last few weekends, it's sort of the ones that have been laid off. It is just like, we're going to do all our home improvement now. We're having fun now. We can do all this stuff we didn't have time to do before. Well, hopefully it ends soon. I think we're all getting tired of it.
I can definitely agree with that.
Alrighty, thank you all for attending.
Right, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Alan.
Alrighty, a special thanks to all our guests tonight on this evening's show. And it's been brought to you again by the Pennsylvania Highlands Community College, courtesy of the TV production class taught by Dr. Bukowski. And may everyone stay healthy, happy, and safe. Sit, dog, sit. Sit, dog, sit. Good dog.
How has COVID-19 affected your life?
It's affected my life a lot, considering I cannot go out or do very much. I am homebound because of my illnesses.
Yeah. How has it affected your social relationships with friends or family?
That has been very different too. I haven't seen my family since before this started. We keep in contact on the internet, and through text message and calls, but I haven't seen them at all. I see my neighbors more.
That's normal. I'm going to zoom into you more. Okay. What did you used to go out and do? What did you used to go out and do before COVID-19? Like, what did you do before we were homebound, stay-at-home order?
I would go shopping. I'd go visit people a lot more. I miss that.
I do too. How has COVID affected your relationship with Preston? There you go. That's a good one.
Oh my gosh. It's affected it a lot because he is normally never home as long as he has been. I'm the one that stays at home and takes care of our cats and our house. He works. And he works a lot. So I see him when he's off work. But this has been a little stressful considering we're together in the house all the time. All the time.
How does he feel about being home?
He doesn't miss work as much, but he feels the same way, kind of.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. Okay. I don't know what else I wrote. Are you exhausted from all the worries of COVID-19? Especially with Rachel Levine?
Yes. Very much so.
Okay, how?
I'm tired of worrying about it. Every time I would have to go to any type of store, wearing a mask, wearing gloves to pump my gas, being away from people I don't know, it's very scary.
You are so right.
Yeah, it exhausts you.
What are your hobbies or things you like to do to keep your mind off COVID, the pandemic? COVID, you know what I mean?
Okay. I'm an artist, so I like to do ceramics. I like sewing. Oh my god.
What else do you like to
writing
do?
and reading.
What about movies? What kind of movies do you like?
Love movies, horror movies especially.
Okay. Do you think it's possible a surge of COVID-19 could be worse in the fall of 2020?
I have a feeling that this is like a flu, that it's stronger in the spring months and the fall. So, yeah, I am worried that if it comes back during the fall, it might be stronger, but we might be more prepared this time.
I don't know, because they said it takes a year just to get a vaccine. So we may be closed all year in my school. Do you think President Donald J. Trump, I don't know why I wrote J. Trump, but okay, is doing a great job for this country to protect Americans from COVID-19?
So far, yeah, I think he has done great. And I follow up a lot with you.
What do you think about China?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Okay. What do you think about China? Do you think China's responsible for COVID-19?
Well, I think to a degree they are. Because they, supposedly that's where it came from. And I think they have 0 deaths, right?
No, they have more than 0.
Oh, they do? Okay, yeah, I just think they're most responsible, but I don't like to put the blame on people.
Okay, what else would you say for people, encourage people to do to stop the fear of COVID-19?
Repeat that, please.
What would you do to stop people from fearing of COVID-19, like going through stress with their kids and everything? Do you have anything to say to them?
You really can't help it, so I'd say, just do your best to keep your family safe. Follow all of the guidelines. A lot of people don't even care when you go to the store. They don't follow the 6-foot rule. It's hard to go shopping. Like, if you have kids, you have to be responsible for them as well. You know.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Courtney.